Have a meeting come to order. If I could have everybody stand, the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I want to welcome everybody. On the agenda tonight, we have got an addition, City Council Administration Public Works H.2. Just need a... This would be the bid recommendation for airport terminal roof project.
Move to approve the agenda with the addition.
Second.
Okay, motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. On to public hearing for review of stormwater pollution prevention plan. Engineering case item 1 is in the blue.
Move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded for opening the hearing. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
The city
Presentation, yes.
The City of Worthington is regulated city under Phase 2 for the federal program to reduce pollution for municipal separation storm sewer system, MS4. Regulated cities need to be covered under a statewide NPDES permit. Permit requirements include implementation of the Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, SWIP, which is to include the following 6 mandatory minimum control measures: public education and outreach, public involvement and participation, illicit discharge detection and elimination, construction site stormwater runoff control, post-construction stormwater management, pollution prevention, good housekeeping for municipal operations. The city conducts an annual public meeting to allow comments on the city's SWIP as its practice to satisfy the public involvement and participation control measure. The public meeting will provide an opportunity for comments to be offered from anyone participating in the meeting. Input from the public meeting is to be considered in determining if the SWIP requires revision. A copy of the SWIP is included as Exhibit 1 and may be reviewed at the Office of the City Engineer and also available at the city website. And presentation, please, Mindy. So this is the presentation I prepared for NPDES Phase 2. I'll talk about the NPDES program background and MS4 program. NPDES is a federal regulation. Goal is to protect and improve surface water resources, maximum 5 years permit term. It's annual reporting, initially used to control wastewater discharge, and now includes stormwater discharge as well. MS4 program is one of the 3 legs of the NPDES stormwater permit program: industrial permit, construction stormwater permit, and MS4 permit. MS4 stands for Municipally Separate Storm Sewer System. It's a statewide general permit, applies to most permittees. Required development of Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, SWIP. And this is, we are under NPDES Phase 2 since we're not more than 100,000 population, considered urbanized area. There is a 6 minimum control measure, and best management practice is called BMP, measurable goals. Next page shows how many BMPs we have here. We have total of 38 BMPs in the city, and 36 of them is required by the permit. The other 2 are things the city is already doing, like stormwater utility and street sweeping. And these are the BMP sheets, basically saying our goal, what to do, just a little quick summary of BMPs. I didn't save it. It's supposed to say 2023 highlights from last year. We did make a public education and information material available, maintained storm system map, adopted updated stormwater ordinances, and inspect city storm system infrastructures. If you go to our city website, there's more information. We have a link on our website you can go to, and here's our link. And if you go under that drop-down menu, there's more informations for public to look at. And this is just a quick snapshot of mapping we keep up with stormwater and sewer that we keep track of. And there's outlets, structures, all this thing. We keep all the details in our maps too. This is our current stormwater ordinance. We had this for a while. Basically, anyone wants to develop more than an acre, they need to develop a permanent stormwater system to control the stormwater. Whenever it rains, it holds and filters out before it goes to the lake or get into our system. And we do inspect a lot of outlets, basins, and there's one dry basin in our city, and 5 separators and 1 skimmers in our city. And that's my
You do
presentation.
20% every year of those? That last slide, you said 20%.
Yes.
That 20% every year?
Yep, because it's every 5-year permit, and
They
we,
have to be inspected every 5 years.
Yep.
So we do the inspecting, some years we do more than that, some years we may do less.
That's just the catch basins and
No, the
whatever?
catch basins are cleaned out every year and inspected every year annually. These are the outfalls that go into the streams and lakes and stuff like that. The catch basins take the water, they then flow out into those streams or lakes or whatever. We inspect those for illicit discharge and make sure that they're maintained and stuff like that.
And then do we have a set amount of lines or storm sewer that gets inspected every year? Is that a set amount or a percentage or
we usually
needed?
we usually send out quotes to TV to inspect / come up with the next year's project, a 5-year CIP. That way we get inspected, and if it's good, we push it aside, and if it's bad, we come up with a CIP.
Are we in compliance, with the runoffs that we have?
Yep. We're meeting all our requirements, and basically that MPD is forcing us to meet that requirement. So we're keeping up with it, yes.
And this still even moving forward, that property that was, along ditch 10? Is that considered part of the prevention plan? I think, is it ditch 10 or 12 or whatever, the one that's behind Spoomers and,
Oh, yep. That's part of MS4 that we're actually trying to make it better. That big pond you're talking about, we're trying to purchase that land.
yep.
Yep, correct. That's part of it,
Part of
yes.
this, okay, all right. And that, I see that there's a time restraint on this too. Is it 2025 is for this,
No, there's a report that we have to do every year, but 2022 report was pushed back and wasn't able to do it because they were updating their website. So this year I have to submit both 2022 and 2023 reports.
that's the permits. I see permits expire November 15th of 2025.
Every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
All right.
We have the same thing at the airport with an industrial water,
Okay.
stormwater permit, so every 5 years.
Cool. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions, testimony?
Move to close the hearing.
Second.
Okay, we have motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Action on the hearing?
There's no
Accept the
action required.
presentation?
Yeah.
Do we need to make a motion to accept the presentation?
Any action or no?
Nope.
We do?
if there is any public comments, we just update it throughout the year, any time of the year.
Okay.
This presentation is just required by this permit that I have to give out.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a report, more than likely.
Yep.
All right. Okay, we're on to a public hearing on residential property tax abatement. Dan Wagner, Community Development, case item 1 in the gray.
Yeah, thank you.
Move to open the public hearing.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
So Exhibit 1A is a copy of a City of Worthington residential property tax abatement program application submitted by Dan and Tanya Wagner. The applicant seeking approval of tax abatement for the construction of a new single-family home on Sterling Avenue. That would be Lot 4, Block 1, Wagner Edition. Staff has reviewed the application and concluded that it meets all the parameters of the program guidelines. Therefore, staff is recommending approval of the application. To comply with state statutes, a public hearing has been scheduled tonight. Should council concur with staff's recommendation, it may do so by adopting the resolution provided in Exhibit 1B.
Is this for the property that's already built there? Or
No, this is for another one.
additional?
Yep.
Okay.
So this would be the next one kind of up the cul-de-sac there.
Comments, questions?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
Move to approve Exhibit 1B.
Second.
Okay, for motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. On to F, public hearing on residential property tax abatement. Dan Wagner, Community Development, case item 2 in the gray.
Move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried.
All right, thank you. So Exhibit 2A is a copy of the residential property tax abatement program, again submitted by Dan and Tanya Wagner. The applicant seeking approval of tax abatement for the construction of a new single-family home at 1111 6th Avenue. The previous home on the lot suffered damages from a house fire and was demolished a couple years ago. The lot has since sold. Staff has reviewed the application and concluded that it meets all the parameters of the program guidelines and is recommending approval. The resolution is shown in Exhibit 2B.
Okay, any comments, questions?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
Move to approve resolution 2B.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded on the resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay. On to the consent agendas. We had city council minutes, meeting minutes of April 22nd, 2024, special city council meeting minutes of April 17th, 2024, minutes of boards and commissions, Water and Light Commission meeting minutes of March 15th, 2024, Joint Transit Authority meeting minutes of January 25th, 2024, case items, application to block streets for the Worthington International Festival and Cultural Awareness Organization, application to block streets for St. Mary's Church, application to block streets, Solid Rock Church, and we had private dock applications and then bills payable.
Move
Motion,
to
please.
approve this consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. On to council administration. Case item 1, letter of funding commitment.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a requested letter of funding commitment for Hack Acres market rate rental housing. Addressing the shortage of market rate rental housing has been a priority of City Council for a number of years. The scarcity of rental housing poses a significant obstacle to attracting and retaining a talented workforce and is crucial to continued growth and success of our economy. City Council transferred unobligated surplus funds from Tax Increment District Number 7 to the spending plan in December 2022 and targeted those funds to address the tightly constrained market rate rental housing market. Representatives of Apollo Development, along with local investors, are proposing a multi-story 51-unit apartment building with 1- and 2-bedroom units, along with attached garages, just west of the city's Puppy Park on First Avenue Southwest. To assist with the project, the city is requested to provide $1 million in funding from the spending plan to offset unfavorable market conditions that are prevalent throughout greater Minnesota. Council action is requested to approve the letter of funding commitment included as Exhibit 4 and authorize execution by the mayor and clerk.
Okay. Have any comments, questions?
This is a project that we've been meeting on for years. We're into, for sure, second full year of trying to secure funding on this. And now investors have come forward. We have a definite need of housing in our community. We have a definite need for market rate housing. This property and the property owners of the Hack Acres have even teamed up as part of the investment side of this. All local owners that have had it for years, and it's been for sale for years, they've all teamed up to become investor partners in this project as well. So I'm very pleased with the actual find of someone who seems to have investors lined up that can actually get a project going. We've tried how many times and given grant money back to the federal government, all of that over years, trying to find and develop more housing in this community and rental property in this community. So this is a win in my situation, viewing this for the entire community and a drastic shortage of rental properties for the community.
And the project isn't dependent on any federal or state grant to get it off the ground.
Correct.
And the other two are that they've submitted, I think, or they're waiting for.
They're just among many that, by taking that aspect out of it, they have a lot less on the federal requirements of building and construction needs and things that just drive costs that make it unaffordable to even do. So this is all private investor, and we've had, through our spending plan, we've had money available for someone that can get it done for, when did we establish that?
December of 22.
Yeah, December of 22, we've had that. So this is exactly the type of project we've been hoping to come forward.
All right. Do we have a motion?
I would move to approve our commitment to this project.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. On to Administration Public Works bid recommendations for airport terminal roof project.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. The Worthington City Council at their February 22nd, 2024 meeting entered into an agreement with the firm of Short Elliott Hendrickson Incorporated to do design work for the replacement of the terminal building roof and heating unit at the Worthington Municipal Airport. Bids for the project were opened at 1 p.m. on May 8th, 2024, and there were 4 bidders. Neiman Roofing Company Incorporated was the low bidder at $162,000. After reviewing their bids, it was found that there were not, they did not meet all the requirements on some of the wind portions of the bid. So they asked for their bid to be withdrawn, which we accepted. The second lowest bid was Laraway Roofing Incorporated at $214,042. There were 2 other bids that were higher. The estimated cost for the project was $268,000. So this bid, the second lowest bid, the bid we accepted, is $53,958, or 20.1% under the engineer's estimate. This project is part of an FAA AIP grant and will be contingent on the Worthington Municipal Airport receiving the grant. The FAA will fund 58.7% of the project. The state of Minnesota will contribute 27.6% of the project, and the city of Worthington will be responsible for the remaining 13.7%. Included in this case item is the bid tabulation sheet, a letter of recommendation, and the letter of withdrawal from Neiman Roofing Company. Those are Exhibit 1. Council action is requested to accept the bid from Laraway Roofing Incorporated.
Chad?
Theirs was completely gone over and made sure that theirs met everything.
Yep.
Okay.
Is there a completion date when this was supposed to be done?
I want to say September 15th, somewhere.
Since we have to redo this, are we extending that completion date?
We're not redoing anything, we're just accepting the second bid.
Okay.
Yep. It's the same, it'll be the same contract as if we would have accepted the first one.
Any more questions? Do you have a motion?
Move to accept the bid from Laraway Roofing.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
On to City Council Public Safety Case Item Ordinance to amend Title 12 of the City Code of Worthington, Nobles County, Minnesota to allow for motorized golf cart operations on city streets with issuance of a permit.
Mayor, Council. Exhibit 1 is a proposed ordinance amending Chapter 71.5 of the City Code of the City of Worthington to provide regulations for the use of motorized golf carts on public and private property in the City of Worthington. A map of the prohibited roadways is shown as Exhibit 2. Council action is requested to approve the first reading of the proposed ordinance.
Yes, Chad.
A lot of this was brought about as more and more, I don't know if technology has come forward on the golf cart aspect, and lights, taillights, blinkers, things of that sort have become a regular part of those. And then when we did the UTV ordinance to put those on the streets, at least in the city side of it here, which is what we have control of, minus the red on there, which are county highways and things which have state requirements that do not, or regulated allowment of things. We've had the request of people over the last, I think we started discussing this a little over a year ago, to be able to keep their cart at their place, pay a trail fee, and go to the golf course and have legal right to use it. And the stipulations we put on there were based off of several other communities, discussions of what can and cannot be done as far as if they have availability after sunset, things like that. And we went through all of those that we felt was safest in this community, and had enough binding to help Troy and staff that should they be violated, that they'd have enough teeth to do something in some sort of penalty or fine if they weren't done. So this is something that's gone through multiple filters to find and come up with a workable solution, knowing that we also have many county roads on the perimeters of this to make it so someone can drive their golf cart and get to the golf course and be legal about it and have to follow laws, rules, and regulations per ordinance.
I know we'd actually talked about this too, one other discussion, that where some of them that are not living around the golf course, how to get there. And, you know, the roads, Oxford and Krelsheim, you can't drive on there. Were we allowing on the bike path for that short distance? No. Okay.
No.
They can cross over all those roads, they just.
Right, they can't
need
drive
to
down
run
it,
down
right,
them.
okay.
Yeah, you don't have jurisdiction over that trail anyways. It's, the trails within county right of way are under county jurisdiction.
Okay, okay. So they're gonna have to watch what they do if they come from a block or two away as far as crossing on people's property as well too, unless
There's multiple points of public
Get on.
crossing. For example, by the fish rearing ponds, there's nothing stopping them from just going over the curb there to get along there, along Liberty Drive. On the corner, the curve of Thompson and College Way, where that turns there, the city owns that property right to hole number 8. For those in the Homewood Hills area, from the corner of, what's the end street on Homewood Hills that like Jim Nichols I forget, on Oakwood, to be able to cross there and
right.
get onto the course, to be able to cross from Fairway Lane and not have to cross anybody's private property to get directly to the course. There's multiple places that they'll at least, worst case, just have to cross over what would be county road.
Are we gonna have to put up signs on the bike trail though for? so
There are
it's not-
signs that
Yeah.
that are not, no motorized.
No motorized, yep. Yep.
And this is something that I know that multiple people have been asking at the course, and that they have asked if they can publish and put out there the information of the ordinance, so everybody out there has access to it, to know what they can and can't do and what they're subject to getting a fine for.
Right. Especially if you could probably hang that up at the golf course or something like that, just for a reminder. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Chris.
The streets on the map that are red in color are those that are, those are primarily state or county or state aid highway funded, or what determined the restricted streets in town?
Yeah, you're exactly right. State and county roads.
We're heavily traveled as well. Anybody else have anything? We have a motion?
I move to adopt the ordinance presented with the red highlights in there.
First
The
reading.
first reading, yes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Troy.
All right. On to City Council Engineering, Blue. Approved plans for mill and overlay on and First Avenue Southwest Trail reconstruction and authorized advertisement for bids.
City staff has prepared plans and specifications for the mill and overlay and the First Avenue Southwest Trail reconstruction projects. Mill and overlay includes segments on Lake Street from 3rd Avenue to 7th Avenue to perpetuate the corridor from last year's project. Trail reconstruction will be paved concrete from Knollwood Drive to most easterly driveway of Prairie Elementary School. Staff,
Because that's awful.
It is rough there.
That's asphalt now, probably?
Yep.
Yeah.
Staff recommends that council approve the plan and specification and authorize advertisement for bids to be received on Wednesday, May 29th, 2024 at 2 p.m. and 2:15 p.m. and considered for award at the June 10, 2024 City Council meeting.
Any questions?
So from 3rd to 7th, that's like Silver Beach area?
Just right here, where we stopped last year, and then all the way to that three-way split intersection. And we have more, we're doing Industrial Lane, also the Sterling Avenue. I just wanted to point this out more than other
Very
two
cool.
places. So we're doing actually a lot more than what we did last year with approved budget.
Awesome. I would move to approve the plan and specification and authorize advertisement for bids.
Okay, we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Okay, on to community development. Gray, City Council discussion, comprehensive plan, implementation steps outlined in format.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So this is just a discussion item here. A major component of the 2045 comprehensive plan will be the implementation steps. These steps will be separated into the applicable sections. So some plans kind of put it all at the end. We're planning that, implementation steps that go with housing will be in the housing section of the plan, things like that. Staff seeking the commission, I copy pasted this from our planning commission, seeking the council's input regarding the outline and format of these steps. So exhibit 3A here, and I'll pop over to this here. Just shows the draft and stuff that we've got as this comes up here. So we aren't looking at the content of these today. We're looking literally at how is it going to appear in the plan, just to make sure everybody is happy with this before we kind of proceed with it. So here you'll see there's going to be categories, descriptions, and then how it's displayed. So first you have an action type, whether that's regulatory, whether that's a new program, planning, guidance, things like that. And then how it's displayed. So an action type would be a notation of this type of action. Complexity, so that's pretty simple. How complex is it on a scale of low, medium, high? So you'll see 3 circles there. Benefit, what's the overall benefit? And then the range from low, medium, and high again with orange circles there. You'd see a lead department. And then partners, so this would be, is it MnDOT, is it the DNR, things like that. So I'm going to hop over and show you kind of an example from a city in Wisconsin that's using a very similar format, though they do have a little bit of additional stuff more than what we've drafted at this point. So you can see if I just kind of pop down to a random one here, develop a Main Street corridor plan with a focus on downtown. It's an action type of planning. They added this supporting goals section, which we aren't really planning on at this point, but we could. Complexity, benefit, and then community partners, so that'd be like their Chamber of Commerce, I assume. And then their lead department would be community development, and they also added lead committee, so planning commission and city council there, along with community development. Right above that, create a green corridors plan. That's a guidance action type, supports all 6 of their other goals in the plan. Medium complexity, medium benefit, natural resource agencies, the Wisconsin DNR, and then their community development and their planning commission would be the lead department and committee. You can kind of go up, you can kind of see these. This one here, reevaluate street design requirements. It's a regulatory action type, benefits 4 out of 6 of their goals. Medium complexity and benefit, one of their community partners listed as the DOT. Community development and planning commission on that one as well. And some other sections here, which apparently don't want to load right now. That's fine. There we go. They've got some that, the lead department might be engineering or something of that nature. So what we're really looking for is whether you like this format that these are in, whether you want to see an entirely different format, you want to see something else. Some other things that we kind of ran through was you could kind of list implementation steps and sort of a priority list, but we felt like if you missed priority 1, you were more likely to feel like you've already failed at implementing the plan. You could do a timeline, so, year whatever, you're hopefully doing this. Again, we felt like we wanted to leave it a little more open than that. That way, if an opportunity to do your number 6 step came up first, that you don't feel like you're overstepping the other ones that you put in there as higher priority or something of that nature. So as we've got it, staff's happy with it, but we're just looking for any input that you have on that. Planning Commission had a few comments and some things we'll explore, but ultimately they kind of felt like if it worked for staff who's going to be looking at this the most, that they were happy with it as well. So Pat, are there any comments or thoughts on this?
Yeah, the hard part of a comprehensive plan for a community and having the input of all the different people doing it, they're not the ones actually having to work on it. And people change, the funding gaps sometimes show up or get erased at different times that you don't have a gauge over 10 to 15 years to 20 years as to when those things are going to happen, to put them into a timeline necessarily that actually would fall into place like you would think, because there could be different things like that. So that I get how that part would be almost like adding, it'd be pretty futile to do that. I like this. I didn't necessarily, and you didn't add those necessarily or talk about it on ours. They're supporting goals without knowing what they are. I guess that's kind of hard to figure out completely if it was for amenity, for an ordinance base, for structural or anything like that. If that's what those are for, I think that kind of falls into the departments that would happen. if something like that is needed. I think you had a lot of stuff laid out there, and I think it works pretty well.
Otherwise, they would probably figure out that maybe those blocks colored would be over in the dot part of it, you know, as far as the,
Yeah.
but. that'd be
I'm
more
sure they know
confusing.
what all that means.
Yeah.
We didn't feel like that was a necessary thing, you know, as primarily staff will be looking at it
Yeah.
and presenting chunks of it at various times, that we know what goals it
Who's
supports.
going to be
elsewhere in the
working on
plan,
it? Who
things
would
like
be a
that,
partner
so.
in it? And where does it fall as far as the three dots, you know, of importance, basically?
Yeah, it's got all the proper information in it anyways. Comments, questions?
Looks like a good format.
Do we have a motion?
Well, you don't need a motion, we're just looking for input.
A review, okay.
As always, it is a draft format up until you vote for the final adoption of the plan. So if you decide maybe there's aspects you don't like later on, as you start to see actual implementation steps put in that format, we can always make changes as needed. So at this point, we've got another steering committee meeting scheduled where we're going to start working through possible implementation steps, and then that'll come back through to Planning Commission and City Council to discuss as well. So we're getting into some more of the exciting parts here. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep, thanks, man. Okay, we'll go on to council reports. I have nothing at this time.
I have nothing.
No report.
Chris,
Report?
No report.
any? Okay.
Transit meeting, we had a joint transit meeting. One of the, probably the biggest thing to come out of that is just the pure lack of use of the designated city bus route. And it's been adjusted, it's been marketed, it's been, a lot of things have been done, and it's just not getting really next to no use. And comparatively speaking to the Dial-A-Ride program, which is available to anybody in the community, I think one of the Joint Powers members figured it out, and it was the Dial-A-Ride was being used 45 times more
Oh, wow.
in a month on average over multiple months than the city bus route was being used, and there is an overload and sometimes longer waits on the Dial-A-Ride program that we said, why are we continuing to, if you look at the labor costs, the lack of use, it was some months less than 50 times, and that was total rides, which could have been one person riding 3 times a week for the entire month. So that, I mean, that they were a third of the entire use, that one person maybe. Less than 50 rides in a month, where we're talking 2,500 and some in the Dial-A-Ride program. So it was just to the point where we voted to put that bus into the Dial-A-Ride chain and ladder. Some of the things that'll have to happen with that are communication with some of the grant writing and things of that, just to show the pure use and lack of use, to shift that funding towards that, because it wasn't even close, not even close. So that was the biggest thing to come out of that. And there is a new person on staff through SMOC that will be handling the transportation and stuff, and she was just getting her feet wet at her second week, I think, when we had the meeting. So she's adapting to that. She did grow up here. She is fluent both English and Spanish, and that is a good thing to help out and get the word even further out to the community, at least on one aspect of language, to spread the word even more on how to find transportation in this community for those that need at even subsidized rates. The other meeting that I have, Prairie Justice Center Joint Powers Board, the building progress, we awarded the progress to move forward because it did come over bids. The county, as you know, in this whole debate for years and years and years, and then more so the last year when we finally got to the point of let's build this building, they set a do or die spending limit. And when everything came to be, we eliminated some things, everybody was fine with it. It wasn't bid correctly. It got bid correctly. Everything put in, things reduced, things downplayed, but still very workable. And we wanted the size that we bid. So we did that. That turned into about a $15,000 overage. That $15,000 overage will be handled by us to make sure that that is completed and done. The rest of it is the split of the county and the city to do that. Otherwise, we were back to square one. And Steve said there are funds available in the spending for $15,000 to make that happen. This had gone on for my entire 8 years I've been on the council. It has been a topic of discussion. It's time for it to either be built or, as Steve said, never to be discussed again. And it's going to get built.
That's
So,
with the concrete floor?
Yep.
Yep. So I know, I'm talking with the mayor of Marshall, and they had started out with a dirt floor, and they had problems with mold, you know, just,
Yep.
it just not being
No,
ventilated.
we wanted it as we bid it. If 15,000 was going to be the stop, we weren't going to let that be the stop and drag on any further, lose more construction season, any of that. So Steve said he had it. We voted to go ahead with it, so.
I know with a part of the transportation anyways, I know that Christina had intercepted a message, I think, from SMOC, I believe it was anyways, and there was concerns about people getting to their doctor's appointments, you know, that would probably be non-emergent. That would still probably fall under that category, I would imagine.
The Dial-A-Ride?
Yeah,
Anybody can use Dial-A-Ride at any moment,
Anybody?
yeah.
anytime.
Because it would made that they were having troubles getting rides to like their dialysis or something of that nature, so I,
Should never be that situation. There, I mean, it's a pickup of the phone, and
Just a matter of
I
communication.
think the worst that they said has ever happened in some of the busiest times would maybe be a 30-minute time frame
yeah.
to get somewhere, and the dispatch has full access to prioritize if it needs to. And especially, and if it's an emergency situation, that isn't the number they should be calling anyway.
right, yeah, they got People's Express or Metavan if they're still around, I don't know. I don't know, I've seen People's Express around anyway, especially
No clue
wheelchair
on that,
people.
but that's,
But taking one of the buses, or the bus route, which was, what, 4 hours a day? I
Yep.
think it was limited to, we take that off and put it on a Dial-A-Ride, they get even more coverage.
and that wait time, even at the worst situation, probably goes down quite a bit by having that there. And the difference, was it $1.50?
Yeah, it's nominal, either way.
$1.50 from waiting for the scheduled limited hour city bus route opposed to any time during the operating hours, picking up the phone and getting a Dial-A-Ride. $1.50, or maybe it was $2.50.
It's reasonable.
During their set hours of operation,
Yes,
but that's,
yes.
it's, spans most of the day. so.
And our taxi service seems to be busy. We haven't heard from him too much.
Haven't heard a late report from them lately, you know, the independent taxi in
Yeah,
town.
yeah.
I haven't heard from them, but yeah, I mean, you still see them running around town.
All right.
That's all I have.
Administrative report? Nothing? Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.